Sorry about the last video. I think it just like zoomed in way too close. I don't know what that was about. I was like watching the video like I can't focus because I'm just like, serving face. Hi everyone. So basically, before I started this reading, there was a message that said that it's me that they were trying to scapegoat, basically. That's the message. It's me that they're trying to scapegoat. Then I just thought of like making the recording for the angelic messaging and everything like that, or messages. I want to tell you guys my vision. I have another channel called Amiga's Tarot Vision, and I want to tell you guys a little bit about it. I imagine a couple, maybe 20, 30 years from now, or maybe even 10 barely years from now, people are going to be doing research on all of these people who are doing tarot readings, and there's going to be backlog about just so much information about all these scenarios and all these things that were happening right under people's noses, or even right in front of their faces, where no one was doing anything about it. And there was so much cowardice and pride. Because there's so much pride, there's so much cowardice, you know what I mean? And it's less about like, oh, okay, like it's less about identity, and it was more about visual visual interaction, which is UI. Really, it was the fact that people were learning how to like interact with the universe, quite literally interact with God. And excuse me, there was so much 144, there was so much misalignment, and even me now, it's like I would love to do my crystalline grid systems and be able to, repair the grid systems and bring, Newt back into collection. So not collection, sorry, into activation. So that then the, ozone atmosphere, and then the, actual external, lamentation may activate and everything, you know what I mean? So that we would have that protection. But there's so much going on right now, especially with rocket ships and satellites and everything like that. It's like, you know what I mean? There's a whole different paradigm, and we are all integrating into this new, capacity to understand our own technology that God is literally providing us. So it's like, there's so much going on in the world right now, and it seems like people are forgetting that the whole journey of self-realization is also identifying yourself in the grand scheme of things. And once you identify yourself in the grand scheme of things, things don't seem so lonely anymore, because you realize what kind of cog you are in this grand machine of life that we all are living. You know what I mean? All the moving parts. I almost died. I just almost died. I was choked and died right there. Ooh. See? Anyway, let's not mistaken gratitude for cockiness. Okay? And let's get this started with. Okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Oh, excuse me. Don't forget to leave a comment if you would like to comment, and like it if you would like, and you know what I mean. Subscribe if you're thinking of keeping yourself updated in these kinds of messages, or not. I don't see, this is another vision, right? I don't think people are trying to subscribe to anything that's gonna be too consistent, because it's a form of programming, and everyone deserves change, and everyone deserves to live a versatile lifestyle. There seems to be some sort of victim in reverse energy. Ooh, so, excuse me. Neighbor. So there seems to be some sort of victim in reverse energy, and then the Ten of Swords. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of Cups. Ten of Swords in reverse energy with the victimhood in reverse. It's kind of like betrayal, and then there's strength. It seems like there's like these challenges. It's giving a challenge, but it's like there's a difficult challenge. It's like a difficult challenge, and then there's the so there's a pathway to receiving instantaneous reward, right? Whenever we beg God for some sort of salvation, there's a pathway that the salvation comes in right on time, right? Because whatever it is that's the difficulty or the challenge or the situation isn't waiting for some circumstance to be over before it begins, right? Exactly, Five of Pentacles, which is what creates a limitation. And that's what the Five of Pentacles is all about, limitations. So when it comes to these types of limitations, it's a specific kind of, and see how we were able to overcome all the former, yeah. So when it comes to limitations and stuff like that, right, there's a hidden disability. I can't make this shit up. I couldn't make this shit up. It's like over and over and over and over again, Spirit is guiding people into awareness of hidden disabilities. And this is a gift. This is a gift from God. This is a gift from the divine. And this is what's manifesting. And it's like realizing that there is something that can cause there to be a compromise of like financial, material, spiritual, emotional wealth in a way that is extremely covert, and that the people who were previously aware about it partook in some sort of greed and gluttony in order to neglect this truth and aspect about these hidden disabilities. And you see, you know what's really crazy about it all is that I'm pretty sure the 144K landed on Earth and saw hell. And when we had seen hell, we had risen. And I thought I was the only one, which is why for the longest time, it took me time to speak out. But there's 144,000 of us. But people only recognize this after I had already experienced it. That's why I call myself like the first and the last. Because it's not that I'm competing with anyone. It's that Jesus himself understands what I mean by that. He himself said he is the Alpha, the Omega, and he is. And he is the beginning and the end, and he is the first and the last. However, it's a specific rank of authority that it measures up to. It's kind of like you got to get there, and when you get there, it's like you invent it. It's like that's it. And it's like there's a lot of, and what there is whatever that was was hidden. Exactly, the hidden disability. It was like the hidden disability was whatever wasn't there. And now it's there. Now it's there because that's how people are getting to know the situation. So it's literally something that is very, very practically human. This is something like, oh my gosh, this is something like, it's practical human nature when it comes to awareness of like lies and like truths and instinct. It's something that it's like those covert narcissistic individuals would use the projections on the limitations in order to cause some sort of despair anytime the limitation would come. And that's what I'm trying to say. And that's literally it's like like no matter how I put it, it'll be sound. It takes translation, and it feels like a different language. It feels like we are speaking an entirely different language. And and that's what I'm talking about. It's like sometimes you understand what we're saying, but it's not because you understand the language we're speaking. It's because you've interpreted it correctly. And that power of interpretation lies in everyone, no matter what language you are speaking. And therein lies the power of God, and a gift that God gave us all to communicate with and in. This was some sort of limitation. It was some sort of limitation that was created during that Sodom and Gomorrah period, during that Babylonian period, because it was Babel language. And that was when there was some sort of limitation. I'm telling you, it was like, no, only certain people could use certain words. This is our alphabet. This is our alphabet. This is our icon. It was like that. And then you see death in reverse, but the lingo, the language didn't change. It became separated, just like the continents became separated. Everything became separated. Everything had its own odd circle. It didn't make any sense because it's like everyone shares the same communicative aspect. So now, growing up in like Hausa Yoruba, Hausa Fulani, yeah, Yoruba. Yeah, it seems like Yoruba tribe also accepts. So like, why am I hearing Kilo Shade, or is it Kilo Shade, or Shade Kilo? Why am I hearing that? Hold on, let me find it. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, Kilonchele. Yeah, what is happening? What? What is happening? Oh my god. Kilonchele, that's what sorry. Yeah, Kilonchele. What's up? Yeah, I said how's Yoruba, they said what's up? They came through me. Yeah, what's up? How you guys doing today? It's yeah. It's Olude Marizo shoot up in this. Oh yeah, up in this. Oh my god, Ogun, yeah, let's go. This is getting to me. So that's the energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of swords. Yeah, Empress again. It's not captivity. It's the curse of the former curse of Persephone was that she would have to be locked in her home, not being able to leave the house or meet anyone. Like, that's the reason why there was no continuous marriage. It was just one. And then it was like it was a misrepresentation of what marriage and loyalty and you know what I mean, and all that really means. And that's why it's about the destruction of innocence, and that's really why it was originally the original rape, because and why it wasn't Lilith and Adam when the rape originally had been coincided, because at the end of the day it was masculine energy that had to do the bad. You know what I mean? It was always masculine energy that had to do the bad first. Because then it was that's how God maintained innocence within all women all the time, and women are able to reproduce men and women for all eternity. And you know what I mean, it's like a certain aspect of God that, you know what I mean, yeah, this is new information for some people. They don't understand, like, but it's okay. It was all written in the Quran anyway, so it's like it's not like we didn't see the miscommunication, misinterpretation coming. And that's what it seems like. It seems like there's a lot of there was an interpretive aspect of the human mind. Maybe it's that base area behind where everybody was talking about, which is why there was like some sort of subconscious knowing of it necessarily needing to be healed. And that's the only place that hardens actively and unhardens actively during our life, which God talks about our heart hardening. So it's like the reflection of whatever is happening in our brain is reflected in our body. As above, so below. That's basically the energy. So at the same time, we can understand how the celestial bodies, the heavens, is a giant brain, and then whatever is happening in that giant brain is as above, so below. It occurs here on earth. But you see why the dark image of the dark experiences of those who submit to the, what you call it, who not only like submit, but they fold to the kind of like a pressure of the limitations that they seem to have d- discriminated against for other people, right? Which caused there to be a distorted revelation, which then was the, what you call it, disgrace, right? And then the pull of the image, or the falsified image, or the contorted, distorted image, right, which had then had been seeming as disgrace, was doubled down on, which caused it to then manifest in the physical reality, because that's like pushing. That's what I mean by pushing. It's like when someone lies about, like, let's say someone lies about someone cheating, right? But there was no cheating involved in any kind of situation. So what would be the double downing, right? In the situation would be anyone actually cheating. So it could be that the person who lied and said that they cheated, or lied and said that, exactly, the person who lied and said that there were people cheating, right, is to what you call it, now say that they had proof and evidence of them cheating, and so then falsifying proof and evidence, then causing a downfall and a disgrace. You see what I'm saying? So it manifests regardless, even if it's an illusion. And that's what causes denial, because it's like, then you got to deny your consequences, right? You got to like, no, I didn't do that, that wasn't me, right? That's where the denial is coming from. And that's what it is. You see? Yeah. That's because then, but they can't just say that. They can't, you know what I mean? They can't just say, oh, you know what I mean? Because then it's obvious. That's what they've been bypassing, because they know when something is going to be obvious. So they try to bypass it. And then everything else after that that's supposed to be obvious is like distorted, because it's like looks disgraceful, but it's only in the eyes of those who really believe the lie. You see what I'm saying? Which was the false, what you call, a sense of righteousness or innocence, which only people who didn't have it in themselves wouldn't be able to see. And even when people don't have it in themselves, like, it takes willpower. It really does. It takes effort when it and discernment. And some people literally switch off all those aspects of themselves, chakra. And so that's why there's like there's some sort of wild disconnection. Yeah, it's like a wild disconnection. Yeah, due to, yeah, Ace of Wands in reverse, Ace of Cups in reverse, due to dishonesty. But because that's the only way that I know that people say it's like the Ace of Swords is the truth, but the Ace of Swords in reverse is a lie. The Ace of Cups is love, but what is the Ace of Cups in reverse? Is dishonesty. Is that disgrace, because that's the lie. You see how it's an illusion, it's a distorted image and of what it is, and it seems like disgrace, but really it's a projection of something that was material. You know what I mean? All what I just said, that's what it is. You see, but it's at the end of the day, it's not real, because the only thing that the only one that it's affecting are those that believe the lie and or those that lied. And at the end of the day, it's like, that's why there can't be any more delays, because it's like, that's where the stagnancy comes from, because it's like, then they're stagnant because there's no other moves they could make. They've been put in check. That's what check is. That's why it's empowering, not because they decided that, oh no, they didn't get a check on you or a checkmate on. No, the game isn't over until you put a checkmate on them. So now you gotta find the mate. Checkmate. Right? If you really think about it, shachmat. See, I told you, it's the language barrier. In Russian, it's called shachmaty. What do you hear there? Shachmat. You see? It's really easy. It's really simple. It's really simple. You put everything together, you understand, like a if I'm gonna speak Japanese right now. I'll say anata no namae wa Emina desu. Right? Why is it that people are like, wow, you sound so like it's so fluent? I'm like, yeah, because in Hausa I can say like I can say God is not going to let me speak my language to anyone. I think that that's what it is. God is not going to let me speak my language to anyone. And I think I don't know why. I think that just, all I know is that I think that God isn't going to let me speak my language to anyone, because I try. Ina so aibinchi, like that. Ina so aibinchi. And then I'll say, that was Hausa. Let me speak in Japanese. Anata no namae wa Emina desu. Hausa. Ina so aibinchi. You see what I'm saying? It's like ina, so, like, you know what I mean? There's like, it's like a lot of the dialect is very similar, and I recognize this. And anyway, there's this translation factor. Remember, translation is an alchemical tool. And so this kind of tool was being dormant in people, and now it's waking up. It's being activated. That's basically an activation of translation. Yep. Because it's like, yeah, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six of Swords with the Page of Bongs. That's a Page of Cups, right? Let's see what that means. So there's some sort of like displayance. Yeah, purpose service, you see? So now we're getting step by step. We're not skipping steps. You see what I'm saying? It's like that was the problem. Is like these individuals, you see, when everything's separated, the communication didn't come together. So it was like one sentence would start and then somebody else would complete the sentence, and then that sentence would be hanging, and then it would be like unfinished business, and then everybody would have to go through the timelines to find the whole paragraph and the whole message. I don't know how to else to explain this to you. Maybe this is just something that we angels be going through, we earth angels be going through, but this is a real thing that do be happening, okay? It's like we got to go through these timelines to be able to put sentences and paragraphs together in order to put it fully articulate the story together. This is like putting a story together. It's like putting a history lesson together. It's literally like us having to like literally do that in order for us to survive. And this is something that's being revered by the masters, by the way. The masters, the ancestors, the spirit guides, the angels are all like, wow, this is so fascinating. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, look at the hell that we're going through. Of course we're going to learn how to adapt in this situation. People are trying to call me, even if people were thinking I'm the empress, I'm going through what, if anyone would be going through what I'm going through in my position. But that doesn't mean that they would be able to survive the same way, because at the end of the day, that's why God put me to make me who I am. Right? And so Ace of Pentacles here, see what I'm saying? And there's a reason that that came out the way that it did. See, the expression of it comes out because there was supposed to be a sentence there. There was supposed to be a sentence there to explain literally something. And it's not that it's not there. It's just cryptic. These people don't have translation power because they can't decrypt. And in order to decrypt, you would have to be trained by the Most High. To decrypt God's messages, you have to be able to you have to, see? You see? There it is. There were some people trying to make a pyramid scheme out of this. Because then it's like it's like a training program. It's like I train you, you train me, you train somebody else, I train somebody else, and then we all train people, and then we start doing level marketings. Like that's basically, it's like the program. That's basically the weird ass program. But now it's not working anymore because it's like it was never going to start to even be working. It wasn't even going to start to be looking like it was gonna be working. And that was the thing. It's like that's why there was so much denial. It was like it was clearly never going to even be able to work to begin with. But they were already in denial about whatever it is that they were in denial about when it came to those same limitations that they had tried to put on other people when it came to their, you know what I mean, establishments. That's what it is, into their establishments. Exactly. Guilt in reverse with adversary in reverse. They really are in the position to surrender. And that's judgment. They're really in the position to surrender. And it's like this is where the delay is. And now we found it, right? They're in the position to surrender, but they're trying to await, like fishing. They're trying to wait. See, they're trying to wait for the moment where they can try, where they think that they can try and make it seem as if that they can throw the energy at the collective or project that same frequency at the collective, or destabilize judgment. That's basically what it is. They're waiting for the moment to destabilize judgment. That's exactly why they think that they are being stagnant, because they think that they're waiting. What they're actually doing is being watched by judgment in order to see what it is that they're planning on doing, when it is that they believe that the judgment has been you know what I mean, disinterpreted, basically, or misinterpreted. Yet they're waiting for the moment where they believe that the judgment is misinterpreted, which is why there's magic, because there's belief. So there's a system that they're attempting to utilize, and it's some sort of false doctrine of religion. So it's like it's so strange, because it's like, yeah, they think that it's like God is displaying how once you know how to decrypt whatever God is trying to tell you, that you can find out how to decrypt anything at all. And this is something of a crypt. Judgment. I couldn't make this up. Yeah. And this is what it is. They want to make it seem as if that they weren't trying to open up a door. That's another thing. And they were trying to use people's gifts to open up doors. That, you know what I mean? This is why people were trying to tap in, actually open up doors to enter into positions to be able to act as if that they were seeing it and then trying to step out. But that's not how it works. You can get an entire summary of an energy force simply by asking about it, and you know what I mean, utilizing your wisdom and discernment. There's love in a situation, but Yeah, there's someone that there's some sort of there's okay, so I don't know. Okay, I come into the practice of seeing good in all things. It's like they were trying to dis they were trying to yeah, they were trying to change that, like, see, misinterpret judgment. They wanted to like take, yeah, exactly. I don't know how to explain it. They wanted to make something, or these energies, organic. That's what it is. They were trying to abuse organic form. Yeah. Yeah, here's the freedom. And that's organic form. Freedom is organic form. Yeah. So now the cycle is being closed out. Here's happiness. That's it. The understanding of freedom being an organic form of expression allows you to identify happiness as the product of expressing freedom. Yeah. And that's basically what they were, or these limitations were about, was their belief system around what happiness came through by. Yeah. What happiness came through by. How it was driven. What it was driven by, I should say. Yeah, what it was driven by. What was happiness driven by. They have false belief systems about what happiness is driven by. Exactly. They wouldn't know happy if happy slapped them with the back of her hand. They wouldn't know happy. They wouldn't know the truth. They wouldn't know happy. They wouldn't know anything. So it's like they ask for happiness. So the truth comes in and it's like, do you really want to visit my sister? You want to go see my sister? You want to be with my sister? And they're like, fuck your sister. I'm like, and then they get smacked up by the truth. And then when well, energetically, that's the truth. Okay. And then later on, they're like, like, you know what I mean? Because it's like Page of Joints. The energy is of sobriety. Yeah. That's sobriety. And with sobriety, one can acknowledge what could, you know what I mean? Where happiness comes truly from. That's basically it. With sobriety, one can recognize where happiness truly comes from. And these limitations basically stem from trauma wounds. Okay, trauma wounds, where it says he gets smacked up. You see what I'm saying? Trauma wounds. You know when your mama beats your ass, and then it's like, dang, you know what I mean? They're like, dang, like, you want some ice cream, you want some fruit, like, because then you're trying to heal, you know what I mean? But then it's like they're holding grudges. You see what I mean? 5-5. And that's the real reality. Is like, it's a call for change. It's a call for change. I mean, when you get your ass beat, it's a call for change at some point, right? So it's like they were denying themselves that reality. They didn't want it. It was like there was no way whatsoever, like, you know what I mean, that they would in any way be in the position to, surrender whatever it is that they believe is their truth in order to capacitate themselves with freedom. It's like Harriet Tubman being like, hey, I can set you free from being a slave. And they're like, no, my master has the best dumplings. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want to understand that a sober mind is a one that will understand where freedom truly comes from. All right. And that's the reality of the situation. It's like there was a lot of misinterpretation due to into ill sobriety, and that's where the sickness, that's where the plague really had been this past couple generations. Ever since the Great Awakening, right? What has been the biggest problem in the collective, if not the sobriety of the collective. Like, please. Like, exactly. Nine of Pentacles with the Chariot. This is something that I value a lot. When it comes to hygiene, sobriety is top. You can, how do you know that someone is hygienic? Is when they're sober. It's how sober they are. How rich a person is, how sober they are. There's no such thing as, I promise you, the multi-gazillionaire in this planet is not doing any kind of drugs, okay? It's not doing any kind of drugs. It's not doing any kind of alcohol. Isn't injecting anything, you know, organic. You see what I'm talking about? See, and that's what I'm talking about. Freedom is already organic. It's already an organic form of expression. There are false limitations and doctrines placed on what that might mean and how that might be driven, but that isn't anybody's, no one is aware about these kind of limitations. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why it's coming off as a disability. It's what caused the disability to begin with, and it's what people are healed away from once the disability is healed away from. You see what I'm saying? So it's like clearly because it's like when the people with the disability don't have these types of limitations, so they can't, so it's like corresponding the translation of one interpreted aspect of somebody else's mindset, like transferred telepathically, like, you know what I mean, telepathically communicated, isn't going to translate the same way within a person with a disability as a person with a no disability. It's not. Some people may think of dreams and it may come out nightmares with people with disability, and that's why God says that the people who have the truly people who have truly seen hell are disabled. Allah literally says the people who have truly seen hell are disabled. Does that mean that they belong in hell? Fuck no. That's why we were meant to pray for each other, because we don't really know what kind of hidden limitations people are struggling with for real, and what kind of backfire it causes on them on a life energetic level. Like, you don't know, because it's like you don't know. That's why forgiveness matters so much. That's why forgiveness matters so much, because you don't even understand how strong your own forgiveness is until it starts healing the disabilities. You wouldn't even understand how strong your forgiveness is until it starts healing the disabilities. Wait until it starts healing disabilities, because I know that it started healing mine when I was very young. I know that I healed away from depression. I healed away from anxiety. I healed away from a lot of things. Loneliness even. I healed away from a lot of things. And it was like, there's 8 of, let me see. So this is the 8. The other one was the 7 of Swords. No, it must have been a 9 of Swords. Sorry, give me a second, because I thought I had a 9 of Swords before. No, it's a Wands. It was an 8 of Wands. This is an 8 of Wands. That was a 9 of Wands. Okay, that makes sense. Wait, it must have been a 7 of, wait, no, it must have been a 6 of Wands. Okay, y'all, give me a second. This is a 7 of Wands, or a 6. Sorry, yeah, this is a 6 of Wands. I saw that card earlier. This is the 9 of Wands. You see, they're all coming out. That's why I'm like, that's why I can only remember these ones. And then Holy Spirit, the Wheel of Fortune came out just so that I could look for this with Judgment. You see what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, the story. Oh my god, it's gonna get deep. Don't worry, I can see it already. I'm just trying to find the answer real quick to this. Okay, so this is the 7 of Wands, right? So that we know, like, I'm not tripping. So I know I'm reading this right for real. Like, I'm double checking everything nowadays, like, just to make sure, because the way that these people, like, it's not even about guilt. It's like the way that these people are trying to play a game. 8 of Swords. Yeah, no, 8 of Swords is still with the Empress. 10 of Wands is here. That's the 7 of Wars. Wars? 7 of Swords. Dang, Wars. Yeah. Yeah, really a lot of mental conflict, a lot of mental fragility. I can already tell. I can already tell. It's like, even if there was war, I wouldn't be able to react the same way. Like I said, I'm like, there's a hidden disability, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't make it a strength. Yeah. I must have tripped that card. Oh no, it is the same card. It is the same card. It is 8 of Wands. Okay, so it is communication, not. Yeah, it is communication. And so it's like a silence. Yeah. Silence, there's victory in the silence. Yep, there's victory in the silence with the lover's energy. It's alignment. There's victory in the silence when it comes to alignment. And that's what that means. That's what that is. The message is about silence. Okay. That's great. That's perfect actually. Yeah, magician energy. That means that there is a potential to manifest from. So we're going to set our intentions, put in energetic boundaries, and yeah, and oh, I can't make this up. 555 clarity. 5555 clarity. Yep. Great transformation, major changes, opportunity, fast-paced forward progress. It's time to take, you know what I mean? Take the pathway to transformation. At this time, it's a good time to open up, like transform. Yeah, you know what I mean? Open up that, because it's like there's a space. It's like an unleavened land. It's like realizing that you're alone with fertile soil, beautiful sky. You know what I mean? And like and everything is great, and you can feel the grass growing. You can tell it's gonna be time before the trees start coming and the animals start coming in. And then there's rivers forming. Like you can tell. Like remember that day? Remember the first second day? You can't ever try and make an earth angel or any angel forget those first days in the beginning of time. That's when we were created. It's like people don't remember when they were born, right? I remember when I was born, because I also remember the beginning of like those stages. Like it's a fascinating sight to see, to be honest. It's definitely fascinating. And it's like you just feel that refreshing, that new earth smell, that new planet smell. And it's like you're really, yeah, I mean, encapsulating your potential within your own truth. And you're like, dang, like that's how it feels if you don't know. So now you know. It's like, wow, like this is happening. This is really happening, like actually. And so then you start building, you start making, you start, you know what I mean? And that's really what it is. Self-compassion, spiritual awakening, willpower, act on your idea, hold your vision. You see what I'm saying? It's a process, step by step. You see what I'm saying? And then that's when the manifestations, like thought bubbles, they pop up in your reality, because they already exist within their raw potential. You're just literally not harvesting, but you're literally collecting the ideations from your mental form, and you're putting it into alignment, your alignment, which is where the understanding of moral empathy and ethics and all this stuff come in hand, which is why interactions with the world are so important. And this is when it really comes in, interacting with the world. And so this is where there were limitations and challenges, creating false belief systems around what happiness would be driven by and what happiness loves. It's kind of like when there's a guy who likes a girl, but the guy goes to all the girls' girlfriends and all the girls' guy friends to ask them what she's like and who she is. And so all these people are telling him all these different stories about who she is, and then he gets it completely wrong, only to come piss her off. So then, like, there's no, you know what I mean? There's no, like, it's kind of that story. It's the same thing with happiness. It's like people were going around asking everybody about what happiness was attracted to and what was driven by, what was driving happiness, only for happiness to be like, you know what, fuck all of this, I'm going to God, right? Literally, like being like, I'll love myself, thank you, right? Why don't you do, like, not trying to be there. They were being cowards towards happiness. They didn't want to face their happiness. They didn't want to face their fears. They didn't want to face anything that was supposed to allow them to grow. And that was where it was that they were having most issues, is that they didn't realize that happiness isn't the result of growth. Happiness is the process of growth, because there's relief, release, there's because there's so much pain, but what happens after the pain? It's strength, it's power, it's overcoming, you know, it's perseverance. And so it's like they was stuck on that. Like, remember the holding the grudges because you got your ass beat, but you were supposed to, and that's the growing pains. It's kind of like that. It's like also understanding the importance of allowing yourself to fail, understanding the importance of allowing yourself to succeed. 777, perseverance, there it is, in blessing in disguise. You see what I'm saying? And it's like the blessings in pain, the blessings in pain. And that's what's activating right now. It's like the things that were never for naught. it's like people really thought that they were gonna make it seem like things were for naught and there was never going to be any kind of success in the situation because they held negative belief systems and they didn't hold any kind of practical judgment about the situation, and they didn't hold any kind of political, like they didn't follow any policies. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what political shit is all about, is that they're not is it's the awareness of the failure of policies, failure to adhere to policies. Yeah. Awareness of failure to adhere to policies. But who are those that are not adhering to policies? Well, that's where the imbalances come from. That's where all the judgment is at now. Taking initiative, yeah, change and compromise. There it is. That's what needs to change. Because they wanted to make it seem like compromise was something it wasn't. Compromise is when, what do you do when you put things together? You comprise it together. Right? You compile it, comprise it. Let me see if that makes sense. Yeah. Comprise, to include. You see what I'm saying? So what does compromise mean? You see what I'm saying? Compromise. That's promise, a joint promise to abide by an arbitrator's decision. So what's an arbiter? Because it's the arbitrator's decision. So you see, arbiter. Arbitrary, there we go. Deciding by one's own discretion, depending on one's own judgment. You see what I'm saying? Arbiter. Person who has power of judging absolutely according to his own pleasure in a dispute or an issue. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. So slowing down. So this is what I'm saying, compromise. So if there was a compromise in the situation, it would have to be because there was some sort of judging within the situation, some sort of judgment, some sort of decision made by one's own judgment. So these individuals, their limitation and belief system was that they needed people, or that people needed to expose one's own judgment of will in order to receive anything of happiness, first publicly and then privately. However, according to here, arbitrary dispute it's about his own pleasure, one's own pleasure. Okay, so it's something decided by one's own discretion. Okay, discretion. So let's look up discretion real quick. So that's the contract. You see what I'm saying? It's not that all these people gotta know what we're doing so that they can make sure that it's nothing bad, so to make sure that they can allow us to do it, so that then we can give them compromise so that people can steal our shit, right? It's not like that, right? Discretion is ability to perceive and understand. What does that come from? It comes from discernment, not separation, discernment. So what was it that happened during that Babylonian time that caused this limitation and all that to happen? The challenge. What was the challenge of discernment? What really occurred when those people didn't learn to discern anything, and all these people now that are still not discerning anything, they fall. Well, let's find out what happens. Let me take it back, right? Starting over, right? What happens to them? What happens to these people? Right? Yeah, so here's the manifestation. Yeah, there it is. Regret, remorse. You see, they gotta restart their whole penantship. Everything that they were trying to grow as a penantship, that they were trying to do for the most time. And that's where all the frustration comes in, because they really believed and they really thought. And it's like, see, anyone could feel that way, but not everyone has the privilege to do so. And that's where they have the access to surrender, which is what's making them believe that, oh, they can make it seem like they're providing surrender to people for false judgment in return. You see what I'm saying? Which is where they think that they can manipulate how people see money and perceive money Yeah. And that causes there to be an actual problem. Yeah, see, then there's the actual fucking problem, and there's the spiritual protection in reverse. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, would you call it the journey? At the end of the day, it was all about a challenge that was failed, right? It was all about a challenge that was failed and the one who passed it. That's it. It's all about the challenge that was failed, the one who passed it, and how others can learn from the story. That's usually how any real Bible or UI program for any kind of setting works. Really. Nine of Pentacles. So it's like you can take anything as it resonates. You can literally take anything as it resonates. Not just in this reading, not just in real life, but in your dreams, in your imagination, in your heart, in your body. You can take something how it resonates. And even in food, you can eat food and only take what you choose to resonate with. I shit you not. That's how it works. And that's the power of translation, because it's the power of literally synchronizing only what is in alignment for one's own highest judgment. You see what I'm saying? And that's why they can't move forward, because that virtue is so important in order to get to the next stage in life. Let's just be for real. That's right after, you know, all this stuff with strength here and, you know what I mean, appraisal. Yeah, towards appraisal, which is where people learn all sorts of skill sets with fame, celebrity status, anything like that. Anything with riches and luxury, and anything with, what is it called again? Higher discipline. Higher discipline. It prepares people for higher discipline. And people who aren't prepared for higher discipline wouldn't even be able to survive higher discipline. And that's where there's a resentment. Okay? That's where there's resentment. Because now there's protection towards the secrets of what happens in higher discipline. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and then there's the spirit guides being like, okay, moving on, right? Here's the Nine of Swords energy that we already had seen before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, Nine of Swords energy. And here's the King of Buds. And then it's like the energy of being held in captivity, like I said before. Because before I thought it was the Nine of Swords, but it was the Eight of Wands, right? Which is about communication, which is like, you know, action. But there was, God works in mysterious ways. Like I said, it's cryptic. It is. That's why you gotta really know your shit. So it's like King of Pentacles energy of emolumation or emolument, right? It is like a, let me tell you guys etymologically what emolument means so that you can join the party. The profit arising from office or employment, that which is given as compensation for services. You see what I'm saying? So that's whenever I tell people, yes, I get paid from God, God pays me. And I'm making sure that there are more and more ways in which that we can both give and receive to each other from this earthly plane and towards heaven, and from heaven onto the earthly plane safely, without, you know, without compromising with the devil, or compromising with false demonic spirits, or any kind of other, what'd you call it, or false, like I said, or any other, what'd you call it, individual who collaborates with those kinds of spirits and energies, or whatever, the false spirits or whatever, you know what I mean, who attempt to thieve away, to do so protecting ourselves away from people who might wish to form weapons against us, basically against anyone. So emolument, I already said so. So that's the energy of from profit arising from office. So it's a continuous thing. See how it's a living structure? It's a living structure. So it's not an so you can't try and destroy every entity. Okay, so just because something is an entity, it's like some things, I can't be advocating for entities. That's the thing. I can't be advocating for entities. I just prefer how God makes it work. So it's kind of this energy of company. Let's just say it's accompaniment. Is it accompaniment? Yeah, it would be like a bond. Yep. Bondship. That's basically it. accompaniment. Yeah, something that attends another as a circumstance. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about. And what is it that attends another in a circumstance? In a circumstance of office or employment, what is interacting with what? What is attending, right? So in the office, attending is profit. You see? You see? What is attending in office? Profit. So there's profit. And it's continuous. It's generative. You can't take from it. You can't give to it. No, it's continuous. It generates something. It generates something. That which is given as compensation for services. You see what I'm saying? It generates that which is given as compensation for services. So it's as given. So it's a given. It's not for granted, right? It's a given, not for granted, right? So it's a not a grant. It's not like it's like an inheritance or an heirloom. It's a investment, right? This is what it is. It's like an investment regime. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? No. It's like a pyramid. It's like that. It's like something, it's like a factory. It's like that. So remember, it's like the cog of the wheel of life. That's what I'm talking about. You see? And so there's something like that that's trying to encapsulate it. It's weird. It's like it's a Five of Swords in reverse. It's the illusion that I was talking about. Page of Bongs in reverse, but it's already been disillusioned. And now it's seen as just a burden. There's pecuniary there, consisting of money. Pecuniary. There's another word. Pecuniary. Something that is consisting of money. So the profit, is that consisting of money? That is a decision primarily made of one's own judgment. It can shift, change any second, any moment. You never know why someone is doing anything at all. But either way, they are in office, provided profit. At any point, you could be giving a homeless man on the street some food. They are in office, right? Or employment, right? And are being given compensation for services, right? What kind of services? Who employed by? Getting what kind of profit? None of anybody's business. It will be a breach. It would be a breach. It would be a breach. And you see how God protected all the chosen ones. And that's what I mean. These people don't know shit about shit. Whenever they read these cards and they think that they're telling people about, like, no. They don't know. They don't know. I like a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, eight of. See the work? There's the work. Tower in reverse. See, no changes when it comes to work. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. But why? Because the ancestral period. Because there's profit. Because there's profit. You see what I'm saying? So the prophet is the one doing the changes. Period. Wish fulfillment. Because that's what is necessary. And then there's the Queen of Pipes in reverse. Right. That's the energy that was throwing those burdens. Because we didn't know whether those burdens were of the King of Pentacles or not. But now we see, because there was a Page of Bongs in reverse, which is someone that with no discernment. That's no discerning energy. Not discerning. Yeah. Queen of Pipes in reverse. Yep. Oh, like basically very distorted energy. The lie. See the lie? See the lie? You ask the Lord to reveal the lie. He will reveal the lie. There it is. There's the lie. The lie. There it is. That something is incomplete. Remember I was talking about the timelines and the sentence and everything like that? Like there was something that was incomplete, right? That was supposed to be completed in a falsified union. That's the lie. There was nothing. The truth is that there was nothing that was supposed to be any type of completed at any point in time. There was never anything that was nothing that needed completing. Yeah. There was never anything that was nothing that needed any kind of completing. Completing. Yeah. Exactly. King of Pentacles with justice. You see what I'm saying? it's like I said, it's like they wanted to accommodate something that was supposed to preserve their happiness once they would be receiving it. What they didn't realize was that the happiness came from the growth and not the reception of itself through, like, they thought if they mastered growth, or they thought if they were to master happiness that they could control the happiness of others. They didn't even grow to realize that happiness was within themselves the whole time. And you were the magic the whole time. And like, they didn't even recognize. That's why there was so much release of anger, release of like, just don't be angry, of like, or if someone came to you when you were frustrated and mad, and it was your best friend, your bro, your lover, your whatever it is, and you love them, and they said, please don't be mad about the situation, just hold on before you make any conclusions, right? You would give it what you call a benefit of the doubt. Why? Because you were angry, not because you were doubting yourself, but the situation was called a benefit of the doubt because there was a doubt presented. The doubt was that you would truly be angry in a situation if you had known the truth. So once you understand that, now you can control your temper. It's that easy. No sociopathy, no psychopathy, no mental illness, no trauma bonding, no. Oh, you think I would be mad if I knew the truth? Well, I already know the truth, and the truth doesn't make me angry. I know how the truth treats me. I know how God treats me, and this is us truly moving forward. That's the romanticism of the situation, right? It's not the romanticism, not romanticism, but the love in a situation. That's the love in the situation. It's very innocent agape love. It's very well softened. And it's completed. And yeah, that's over. You know what I mean? With that whole situation, it's like love is here. Yeah, there's alignment. You know what I mean? Or where there's a sign of alignment, there's a signal, right? There's a signal. Yeah. There's the Knight of Pipes in reverse, the immature, desperate action taken at the wrong time, and the slow pending. You know what I mean? And there, I'm telling you, it's an order. See what I'm saying? I'll show you now how God works, right? It started off with the Wands energy, right? And then it became the Swords, and then it became the Wands again, and you could tell that there was something going on weird because the Cups came out and then it was in reverse, which means there was some sort of error. It doesn't make sense, something happening, you know what I mean? So then later, all this energy came out of torture and whatnot, all for it to end up being the Knight of Pipes, Knight of Wands in reverse. So it started off with Wands being in the Knight of Wands, so it's almost like cutting off your face to spite your nose kind of energy. And this was the warning for the longest time. It's like when someone is doing that, you can't almost empathize with them, because then you end up emulating yourself. And that's really what it is. It's emulation. And they wanted to control emulation. I can't, because it's like misspelling the word emulation, and that's why stupidity is a sin. I'm telling you, I couldn't make it up. I couldn't make it up. This is why you keep it a secret. And this is why you don't want to give out God's secrets and everything. Emulation, sacrificial killing, us sacrificing, emulate, to sacrifice, kill. You see, sacrifice, kill as a victim, kill, slay. I couldn't make this shit up. That's what they were in the energy of manifesting. Meaning that that's what they were planning on doing to someone, and then it had backfired anyways. You see what I'm saying? Immature, wrong action done at the wrong time. And so then we go to emulation. Let's see the difference between what that means. Emulation, effort to equal or excel in qualities or actions that one admires in another or others. Imitative rivalry. I couldn't make it up. Like, do you see why stupidity is truly a sin? And that's why clarity is so important. You see how close those words sound together? I'm telling you, translation is so important. The words are so important. Understanding the physical reality we live in, understanding the nature of our spirit, understanding the essence of our power. This is what's truly important. And what'd you call it? Because this is where we can manifest this energy of freedom, potential to succeed. You know what I mean? Exoneration, right? Comes from exoneration, the act of exonerating or discharging or freeing. See, state of being discharged or freed from an accusation, obligation, debt. You see? Exonerate, free from burden. Every time you release your burdens to God, you are allowing yourself to be unloaded, disburdened. You're allowing yourself to be exonerated, which is the energy of liberation, is the energy of deliberate liberation. And this is where prayers come in so honestly. They come in so honestly, they come in so, these are the only things truly. Anyways, there's the rebirth, right? There's the rebirth. This is like resurrection energy. And now it's coming into alignment, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exactly. It's coming into alignment with the King of Cups energy, which means it's like coming into reality. It's like being downloaded, right? Yeah, exactly. It's being downloaded in that space of potential I was telling you about. And there it is. There it is that this was the moment that they were waiting for. But now it's too late because, you know what I mean? The verdict is already in, and that's what we're about to read right now. And this is what we're going to receive as our return in growth. So this is where the happiness is going to come from. You remember what I was telling you? So that's how we know it's going to be good news for us in the collective. That's how we know it's going to be good news for us with, you know, with the divine and God and everything, because that's how it goes. That's literally how it goes. So now with the exoneration, so you know what I mean, instead of asking who, what, when, why, or anything like that, we're gonna let, you know what I mean, the Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit, you know what I mean, speak. Exactly. So with when it comes to the Ten of Swords, the Ace of Pipes is so the reason why there was a Ten of Swords is because the same thing that was supposed to be, or the same thing that was supposed to help, is the same thing that is being repelled, basically, or that's the energy. Fuchsia. The same thing that was supposed to help is the same thing that's repelling. So there's like proximity. So yeah, exactly. Proximity challenge. So that's what it's giving. Exactly. Tower. Tower in reverse, that is. Yeah, the sun. My pipe broke the other day. I remember saying this. I just realized it's a broken pipe. But the tower, I just love God so much. Like Queen of Cups, because literally, like how smiling I'm, like, opportunity. Let me just grow in this situation. Like, look how I started smiling. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say. Happiness. Happiness. In a situation so fresh and so clean. Yep, so fresh and so clean. Cleaning from the inside out. Basically, that's what it's saying. Page of Joints. And this is like this is like advancement. So there's something about advancement growth. Like a spurt or advancement growth. The growth of the advancement. I feel like that has to do with pattern integration. Oh, you know what? Oh. This is going to be a long ass read, y'all. I didn't expect it to be this long. Oh, there it is. I'm young, black, and sorry, I'm young, black, and rich. Sorry, I just love that part of that song so much. Okay, let's see what it is. Ooh. Empowerment. Soul Time Alchemy empowerment coherence. Yeah, it's empowerment. Okay. It's truly empowerment. And so that's what it is. Growth when it comes to empowerment, expansion. The space is to empower oneself. Expanding in expanding in access to growth potential through validation, validating, through validating. This is like synchronizing your reality inside an Android so that you could be able to see reality for what it truly is. It's like you know what I'm talking about? Like you're like synchronizing, you're synchronized, calibrating. Oh, I already said that. But that's what I'm talking about. It's like that's the calibration. It's like because when you're leveling something, you know when you're leveling something, anyways, when you're leveling something, you're trying to make sure that it's level towards the ground, right? It's level towards the ground, it's parallel to the ground, right? It's like calibrating reality so everything is parallel. And so something like that, it's like calibration of reality so things are, I don't know what the heck. So it's like that's what's occurring. The gut feeling, I'm telling you, it's like that's what's occurring. But it's new, it's growth, so it's new. Yeah, future, the unite, I could not make this up. Timeline, so it's about getting something that's going to get done, being parallel to something that's going to teach a lesson for someone else, the traumatized. Yeah, exactly. And then the angel is here. Something that's going to happen is going to be parallel or adjacent. Is it? Nah, adjacent is like this. You see what I'm saying? That's adjacent. So somebody wanted to control the proximity. Contiguous, bordering, close, nearby. Exactly. Yeah, adjacent lines make an angle. Exactly. Exactly. Adjacent angles. It's like kind of seeing two different sides of the elephant. It's like you're not just standing on the ground and looking at the elephant from this perspective. It's like somebody also on the roof in the corner, head upside down, looking at the elephant from a completely different view. You know what I mean? It's like that's what I mean by distorted. Doesn't mean that what they're seeing isn't what they're seeing. It just means that the way that it's being translated through their own brain isn't becoming, isn't aligning with the communication of the territory of the environment. It's not translating. It's not like it's not translating. It is. It's just that it's not it's not that it's not cognizant, because what they're, it's like someone speaking their language. It's not that it's not. I'm telling you, there's an odd discrimination. It's an odd discrimination. It's not, is it transisting? It's not emerging. It's not congruent. Is that what another one is? Congruent, adjacent. It's like parallel. It's not, oh my God. Explaining the same thing in two different variations means that it's parallel to one another in the same context. But when it's adjacent to one another, it means that there are two different points being made within the same context. See? Adversity in reverse, I'm telling you, it's some sort of challenge. It's something of discernment. It's like these people didn't know, like I'm telling you, they didn't know trigonometry or some. When was trigonometry invented, please? Hipparchus of Nicaea. Yeah, Hipparchus of Nicaea, Greek. Died after 127 BCE. Yeah. Bithyia. Pythia. I just remembered. Sea of Marmara, Black Sea, Alexander the Great. Yeah. Why am I seeing Australia? Bithyia, Anatolia, Black Sea, around those time. See, Bithyia was occupied by warlike tribes. Persian envoys and remarkable pugnacity kept them from complete Persian domination after the 6th century. They never submitted to Alexander the Great or his Seleucid successors. By the 3rd century BC, the small, powerful state had evolved to government to Hellenistic kingship. And reached its height of power in early 2nd century BC. There followed a century of inept leadership and rapid decline. Bithynia's last king, Nicomedes the 8th or 5th, little more than Roman puppet, bequeathed his kingdom Romans in 17 or 74 BC. Pugnacity. Let's see what that means. Pugnacity. Disposition to fight. Quarrelsomeness. That's these motherfuckers' ancestors? No. That's the ancestral curse. That's the backfire. Fondness of fighting. Contend against. Quarrelsome. And during this time, that's like a big development of like trigonometry. Lover of truth. See? Young man of Bithynia who in compliant local weather patterns throughout the year. Didn't I say it was about the weather? Constellations, synchronized winds, rainstorms, and astronomical seeds. Now if people did that, they would call them evil and wicked. I swear. Like, why are you counting all the storms and seas? Or you're trying to find something? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, just give me a reason. Just a little bit's enough. I'm telling you, they're always trying to look for something. We're produced by many, like, and that's why they be trying to act like there was a something for them, and the nothing that they try to act as if was there for them when there wasn't anything there for nothing. You see? Like, no matter how you put it, it's always gonna come out the truth. Most of hypocrite. That's parallel. That's what I was talking about. However, it seems to be spent carrying a program of astronomical observations. I already said that. Solar and lunar theory, orbits the sun and the moon, duty of the eclipses, Mercury, Mars, stars, celestial sphere. Every year traces around west to east. Equatorial plane. There. The 2 points of the which the ecliptic and the equatorial plane intersect, also known as the vernal and autumnal equinoxes. That's what they're talking about. And the 2 points of the ecliptic farthest north and south of the equatorial plane, known as the winter and summer solstices, divide the ecliptic into 4 equal parts. However, the sun's the sun's path, known as ecliptic, like an ecliptical, not an ecliptical. Isn't it ecliptical? Why am I thinking of a working out machine? Hold on one second. Let me look up an ecliptical. If I'm saying this correctly, we'll find the right answer to this. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like when it goes like a flower, like a weaving. Man, this is real complicated. I really don't like looking at all these designs, to be honest. Okay, there we go. This one's better. Yeah. So you have the declination, recescension. There it is. Celestial equator plane, There it is. That's where the rest ascension. I couldn't make it up. It's right there. And yeah, exactly what I was talking about. Like that. No. Yeah, rest attention, right ascension. Abbreviated RA. I couldn't make this up. Didn't I just say these people are literally just that dumb? Like, they just can't understand. Abbreviated RA. Symbol alpha. I can't. I couldn't make it up. You see the denial? You see? They're so in denial. It's right there. Rest ascension, right ascension, correct ascension, alpha energy, Ra. Sun energy, right ascension, right? Angular distance of a particular point measured to eastward along the celestial equator from the sun and the March equinox to the hour circle of the point of the question above the earth. When paired with the declination, these astronomical coordinates specify the location of the point on the celestial sphere in the equatorial coordinate system, right? Refers to the ascension or the point of the celestial equator that rises with any celestial object, you see? And then the exalted one, and then the exaltation would have to be a whole different process. It's when it's being let go. You see what I'm saying? Exaltation. It's like also the inner power of like retirement. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's really what it is. And so it's like you're a part of the celestial body system. It's like, if you really want to retire, you got to do it through Jesus Christ. You got to do it through Christ. That's the only one. He's the only one who, whatever, you know what I mean? He's the only one who has the right to really, it'll be like, nah, I don't want to do that job today. You know what I mean? He's the one that really reserves that. So whole term, in contrast with the oblique ascension, the point of the celestial equator that rises with any celestial object from seen with most latitudes on Earth, where the celestial equator interacts the horizon of the oblique angle. So like I said, there's two different ones. There's the ascension, right? There's the ascension, the continuous ascension that you have to go through, right? Up until the moment that you really go and become exalted through Christ, Jesus Christ. But you have to go through that ascension process and then there's those that go through oblique ascension. This is like where they go up and then they have to reincarnate because they have to learn everything properly, right? But God is in control of all of that. That's what I'm trying to say. God is in control of all of that. And the way God works is a mystery. So it's like, it'll be written in many forms and languages, but the only ones who can translate it are the ones who can understand that language and understand the cryptology behind it. But not everybody who thinks that they know is actually aware. So there's some people who claim to be experts, but then in reality they know nothing. And that's the lesson that had to be even learned from the get-go when it came to pharaohs and Greeks and all of them, right? Because when the Greeks came through to the pharaohs and they told the pharaohs this, it's like, oh, well, what do you even know, right? Ra's right here. What are you talking about? Right? And then for all the shit to go down the way that it did, like, whoa, calm down. Like, that's why it says there's quarrelsome energy. Odd, weird, like, it was odd discrimination, weird shit like that. It's like a lot of gossip, and you'd be surprised. And it manifested. Literally, like, it's like, that's how it happens. And you know what I mean? And then the consequences are the consequences, and then the success can only be found through acceptance. Exactly. See, self-esteem is here, expansion when it comes to the truth, and humor is here because there's still undefeated truth that goes directly to God because of the cowardice that they still are begetting for literally assuming false friendship where friendship was for naught. You see? There was no friendship there. But it wasn't like there was nothing there for naught other than the friendship that they had claimed had been there. And that was the energy here. You see, the friendship is here when it comes to I couldn't make this up. The friendship is here. When it comes to allyship, happiness, and gratitude. Remember, I said don't mistaken. You see? Don't mistaking what for gratitude? Cockiness. Don't mistaking cockiness for gratitude. And don't mistaking gratitude for cockiness. This is where discernment really needs to be understood. Don't mistaking cockiness for gratitude. Yeah, there's peace. And then there's friendship. And then there's the loneliness with the fear in reverse. Yeah. These are like protections. And then there's the failure. Remember what I said? This is the oblique ascension process stuff. You see? Because you can only really fail in peace. You can't ever fail like if you're in chaos. Like if everything is already chaotic around you and everything is breaking down, everything is already awful, everyone is shitty, everyone is rude, there's no such thing as a real mistake. You're just doing what everybody else is doing. But when you're in peace and everything is going right and there's in continuous order, you're bound to make a mistake, especially here on earth. I mean, yeah, obviously here only on earth, really, because nothing can go great in hell and everything goes great also always all the time in heaven. And this is what it is, or well, it's meant to. But that's another thing, right? That's another whole different mystery. And so there's the regret and the failure where it comes to shame. And that's the oblique ascension. So now there's a discernment that is arising, quite literally like ascension of discernment. Yeah, discernment is ascending. Karma is ascending. Discernment is ascending. Or should I say dharma is ascending and karma is descending. And that's more like how it looks, how it seems. You see what I'm saying? But the cryptology behind all of that is that judgment is rising. Yeah, verdict is coming. Death, yeah, there's the death and then there's acceptance. So now we understand. Remember when I told you guys about life and death in the old video? This is what I mean. So life, right, as an expression of acceptance, and then there's the death energy over there. Life is an expression of acceptance. So what manifests in life as an expression of acceptance? Wouldn't that be solitude? So there's a projection of betrayal when it comes to solitude. Now the solitude is going to manifest regardless. It's a matter of where. And so that's being reversed now. People trying to control where people's manifestation cycle complete, period. People trying to control where people's manifestations manifest at, where it manifests at. And that's why they kept on trying to make me confused about my navigation abilities. I know where things are supposed to go. But it's like they wanted to make it seem like I was supposed to know where to go, as if to put myself there, like I'm some sort of puppet of my own, like, you know what I mean, soul or something, when it comes to my integrated spirit. Like as if I didn't know who I am type shit. Five of Pentacles, limitation. You see, that's not my limitation. And then we're back to the beginning, you guys. Deprogramming. Remember when we all would be deprogramming? I am not my limitation. I am not my past. I am not my trauma. I am not your childhood. Like, you know what I mean? Strength. And then there's the burdens. Yeah. There's the burdens, and then it's being lifted. Quite literally, here's the hangman. It's being surrendered, because you know who's taking the opportunity to surrender since these people don't want to? The ancestors. God is. God is through the ancestors. God is like, since you don't want to give me the plums, I'm just gonna give myself my plums. The fuck, like I'm gonna pay myself. Like exactly, like that's what God does. God pays himself too. Period. And he does it through the ancestors. He does it through his children. He does it through everyone. And if they don't want to pay him because they feel like they're supposed to withhold it and be greedy about it, even though it's not theirs, then, well, that's not a problem, because God is going to give it back to himself anyways, right? And that's really what it is. Yup, exactly. And they wanted to reverse it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they wanted to reverse that investment. That's what an investment is. You see? Yup, they wanted to reverse it. It's real bad. That's them. That's them. Cloaking themselves in false victimhood energy. Trying to make it seem like it was their opportunity when it was already our growth. We already occupied the space. Remember I was talking about the space and expanding and growing and finding potential for growth? We already occupied our own spaces. And now they're trying to find space within us. Like, no, there's no space. The Holy Spirit resides here. The Holy Ghost resides here. There's no space for you monsters. Yeah, exactly. King of Pipes is here with the full energy. Yeah, they thought. See, communication in reverse. They're like, I didn't say it. I don't give a fuck. Shut the fuck up anyways. Shut the fuck up anyways. Like, is that simple? Shut the fuck up anyways. Like, I don't give a fuck. And like, yeah, exactly. High Priestess, Devil in reverse with Innocence here. And that's their fuck-ass energy. Look at them. Look at them trying to, look at them. They were trying to bait the Hierophant. That's what it was. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 6. They were trying to make bait of the Hierophant. Yeah, they were trying to make bait of the Hierophant to make it seem like the Hierophant, or there was some sort of, as if like there was some sort of escape. Yeah, as if a Hierophant pulled a Hitler. Yeah, as if a Hierophant pulled a Hitler. You know, putting like a whole bunch of people against each other, and then killing themselves or taking themselves out. Yeah, they were trying to pull a Hitler. Somebody was trying to bait themselves by trying to, or bait a really high-ranking individual by trying to make it seem as if the high-ranking individual was pulling a fast one on the collective, because they were trying to hide. Yeah, it was not even in reverse, because they were trying to hide the fact that they tried to victimize or try to project victimhood at an opportunity that was actually right for the collective. An opportunity that was actually for the collective. Yeah, Judgment. Seven of Swords. Yeah, and that's where there was a whole lot of trying to confuse people in the situation. And yep, there it is. Enlightenment reverse. That's the confusion energy. Yeah, because they were trying to project their own unawareness, like their own need to expand and grow, as if that was going to create space in somebody else's reality to now grow and expand. Right. Like to create, like they're basically like trying to come to people and being like you need to make space for me in your life kind of energy. Like, no, the fuck, no one has to do that. Right? There's no space. The fuck? It's kind of that energy. It's like yeah, that's what it is. That's the energy. 9 of Pentacles. Anyway, it's returning back to sender now. All of that energy is returning back to sender, because it's that's where the entitlement, false ideation comes from. Yeah, false ideation of entitlement that's not even like divinely orchestrated. Yeah, and then there are these procedures. So there's a procedure. Yeah, there's a procedure, protocol, and now there's the protocol is in action. It's active and it can't be stopped. Protocol is active and it can't be stopped. Page of Buds in reverse. Yeah, Page of Buds in reverse. Page of Pentacles in reverse. Judgment. Exactly. Period. It's over. Protocol began and can't be stopped. Yeah. Everyone is ascending again. Right. Yeah. Divine. No, there's no one man left behind situation or anything like that. It's become very clear and apparent what's going on with the collective. And yeah, and spiritual protection is now here for those of us that are part of the collective, divinely orchestrated and spiritually protected. Yeah, spiritual protection is here for those that are spiritually protected, and you know who you are. Yeah, spiritual protection is for those who know. No, see, that's where they were trying to put limitations. Yeah, spiritual protection is here for the collective, and you know who you are. Period. Yeah, 9 of Pentacles with the King of Pipes, right? This is the King of Swords upright with the Journey, 9 of Pentacles, and then to the Queen of Pipes in reverse. It was like someone would, what is it called when someone invites themselves without your permission, as if that, you know what I mean? But in the same way, like, makes it seem like you came to them. Like you called them. What is that? Like an intrusion, right? Exactly. I don't know what that is. Honestly, I don't know what that is. Like, what is that? Yeah, that's them again. You see what I was talking about? I can't even make it up. Look, see the temperance in reverse and everything. Remember when I turned everything up right? That's them showing their ass. Remember? They're showing their ass. They're trying to come across as a queen of joints with the queen of butts because of the king, because they're trying to place blame on the king of pipes energy, right? With the queen of butts, so queen of the sea, it feels like there's a masculine frequency with two other feminine frequencies. That's what I'm seeing. So it's like they're trying to make things superficial. So it's trying to manifest characterism. So someone can only feel, someone wants to deploy something. That's what it is. They want to manifest deployment. Yep, that's what it is. They want to manifest deployment. That's why they wanted employment so bad. Deployment. The act of deploying. Extend troops in the line. Expand. I can't make this shit up. Unroll. Unfold. You see what I'm saying? Unfold. But they can't. But they already folded. Remember when I said that they'll get folded? They like, that's why I love God, man. I meant that in slang terms, right? Folded as in defeated, and they are defeated. And they're trying to use the same context of the words that I said in as if that it was going to give them the same parallel kind of balance onto, you know what I mean? You see what I'm talking about? The bypassing karma and energy. And so they thought that they were going to unfold, but that's not how it works. They've been defeated. They wanted to expand their defeats. Maybe that's another thing. That's what it is. So they wanted to abuse the power of expansion and wanted space to expand their defeat. They needed space to expand their defeat. Exactly. And there's the Empress energy now here. See? With the Devil in reverse, manifesting Chariot. You see? The Chariot energy is of forward movement, advancement. Remember the advancement and growth that I told you guys about? There it is. It manifested and it's here. It's clear. So now the burdens are being released to God. And this is what I'm saying. The burden for us would have been to defeat them. But God already defeated them. They're in five of wands energy trying to fight because they've been defeated. That's the truth. See? And they're the ancestor partner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this 8 of swords energy is backing, is the expansion. So this is like proximity. So they wanted there to be there to be adjacent possibilities too close to proximity with those people where to the point of overwhelm to control the position of the manifestation reward materializing. Yup. Is that correct? Yup, Justice. Ooh, spirit guides. Yes, spirit guides are happy. It seems like I learned a lesson here too. Yeah. See, the spirit guides are happy. They're being rewarded. The spirit guides are the ones being rewarded for successfully teaching me this lesson. So this is also being given to God. All the victories being given to God in the situation. So that was like, this is the challenge that was supposed to be passed. Yeah. Exactly. This was the difference between life and death. So life being wish fulfillment, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, nine of cups, and death like kind of energy being nine of wands, like victimhood, right? So that's another thing. So the cycle is complete, the cycle of life and death kind of energy. And so now what begins with 9 of pentacles energy, right? So we're gonna, so the new beginning, remember the rebirth transition, I'm saying the rebirth that is occurring, perception. So it's the rebirth of perception and the strength of perception, right? Rebirth of perception, strength of perception, versatility of perception, communication, translation, all that updates, right? perception is getting an update. Everyone's perception is getting an update. Everyone's perception is getting an update. Yep, everyone's perception is getting an update. Four of Swords in reverse. They're gonna have to work even there's gonna be no rest for these people. They're gonna keep on trying to fight people. They're gonna keep on trying to ruin people's perception because they can't adapt to the changes of the updates that there are perceptions. Like all our perceptions are ascending. All our perceptions are seeing, like we're seeing bigger, we're seeing more. Yeah, there's huge spiritual protection here. It's like enlightenment is occurring. We're all growing, and yeah. And people are starting to wake up to recognize the power of silence. The power of silence. Yep, the power of silence. The Two of Wands and with the Ten of Pentacles. Yep, Two of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles, which is gonna be motorized. So this is where something is motorized. Actually, can make it up. You see what I'm saying? You can actually see when something is motorized. So what does that mean, motorized? When something is furnished with motor or motors. See, I told you God furnishes the best. I couldn't even make it up. One who or that which imparts motion, controller, prime mover in reference to God. Period. Let me tell you guys something. When I was moving from one apartment to another one, the guy who was moving me, his name was Abraham. I'm not going to give him any props because he low-key did some shit to me. But yeah, but my ex at the time was the bitch I really didn't give a fuck about. Like I actually forgave Abraham for doing that. It was the bitch ass who I couldn't believe let that happen. Right? That's where the reality sunk for me. So yeah. 3 and 3, and then what'd you call it? The Hanged Man, and then the Walking Away. Yeah, aw, yeah. Thank you, Father Abraham. So that's another thing. There's the opportunity that we were all talking about. Yeah, and it was the opportunity to surrender. Yeah, exactly. Aw, and there it is. The Lovers with more love. Okay, and there more love, 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 love. And then this is it. This is the growth. This is the journey of love. So living life is a journey of loving love. Living life is a journey of loving love. That's what it is. Living life is a journey of loving love. And here's the love, okay? And then yeah, and then these individuals, they don't live, they die. You know what I mean? They die in death. They can't resurrect. They can't rebirth. They can't transform. They can't. They can't let go. They can't. Like there's a lot of shit that they can't do. So they die. They're dying in death, right? And what did I say? And hating, in hate. You know. That's what's going on with these people who are opposed to opposed to what again? Yeah, opposed to the journey of life, quite literally. Opposed to the journey of loving, true loving. Yeah, and opportunity. That's what it is. Opposed to the journey of other people protecting their expansion and awareness to the potential of growth available for them and providence of other people and stuff like that. And investments, yeah. Investing in self or motor. It's people who... So that's what it is. Motor skills. Of course. Autism is the deterioration. Isn't it the deterioration of motor skills? But that was the goal. To cause paralysis. Some kind of paralysis. Okay, no. Motor skill development. See? Challenges with both gross or fine motor skills. Yeah. Coordination, balance, posture. You see, I talked about this. fine motor tasks, writing or using utensils. Oh man, I remember when, man, it was so hard for me, but I was also a little baby. It's like, this is like expectations, and oh my gosh, it's so like difficulty with walking, running, jumping, or participating with sports. Of course, I had grave difficulty with all of this, but that doesn't mean that I overcame it like it looked easy. Like, that's the truth about it. But difficulty writing, drawing, you're using scissors or buttoning clothes. Like, yeah. Like, yeah. Challenges with hand-eye coordination, such as catching a ball or coordinating movements. Yeah, exactly. But it was so hard. But I overcame all of that. It was so, you still see the symptoms in me. Like, it's something that'll slip through once in a while when God wants to show someone something cool. Like I said, changes need to occur. Yeah, problems with handwriting and stuff like that. Like, I remember this. Oh my gosh, I remember this. I mean, my parents were really scared that I was never going to be seen as normal. Like, their genetics were weird. That's why my parents they really didn't want me to be seen as genetically modified, like they did the wrong thing. I shit you not. Like, they just didn't want to be seen as fucked up people for doing fucked up things and then forcing a child to be fucked up because of it. But you know, when you slap the fuck out of a TV real hard and it starts working, that's kind of what happened. It's like, it was a miracle, honestly. It was really a miracle. It was like I died and all of a sudden I came back working just fine. It's like nothing ever happened, and the parents were like, and then it's like they had a release, like a relief, you know what I mean? And but then the karma is still there. Exactly, the world. It's like there wasn't anything that wasn't supposed to be incomplete or something that wasn't completed. It was literally just like smacking the fuck out of a TV and it works again. Wouldn't work with anyone the same way. And also, it's not about the fact that it worked. It's now that it had worked. Now that there's some sort of cure or some sort of clearing, some sort of, you know what I mean? Something that cleared out this energy, or that energy, cleared away that energy of burdens, or by exoneration, right? Since exoneration truly does work in a situation, right? And that's it. They wanted to meddle in the power of exoneration. Yep. Queen of Bongs. There it is. There's all three queens so far. They wanted to meddle in the power of exoneration, and the only queen missing is the Queen of Pipes, which is the Queen of Swords. So they wanted to meddle in the power of exoneration. So it's like, for example, what's being exonerated right now is compassion, self-compassion, communication, and compassionate communication, translation, right? Translation, exactly. King of Pipes energy upright, which is the, you know what I mean? King of Swords, which is the, what'd you call it? Archangel Michael energy. Queen of Pipes in reverse is like, oh man, I can't, let me just look it up for you guys so that you guys can understand. There. Overly critical, lack of empathy, see, rude, malicious, dependent, bitter, manipulative, cheater, mental, fog, repressed, trauma, absent mom, poor communication, infertile. See what I'm talking about? This Queen of Swords in reverse. And that's literally what I'm saying. They are the ones with the meddlesome energy, right? They're the ones with the meddlesome energy, attempting to impact the exoneration, right? The exoneration of freedom in a situation, or exoneration in general, for people, for individuals who are well coordinated, truth speaking, blunt, self-compassionate individuals, which is why I say collective, because there's so many people like that. There's like billions of people in this world who are kind and not, maybe that's what it is, that was the excuse. King of Joints, King of Wands. Yeah, there was a witnessing of a theft, or like a thief in the night. It's either that, they've also been trying to abuse the wisdom of Jesus Christ, abuse the Bible, right? Which is the big one. Like, they know, like a thief in the night, a situation can be taken away, right? But they're trying to make it seem like as if something wasn't taken away like a thief in the night to cause some sort of false exoneration for themselves. And that's what they were trying to do to condemn other people's security in as if that they were the ones that were secure from the get-go. And that's the what you call it, revelation, you see. And that's what I was talking about when it was like dark revelations and shit like that. Yeah, exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 of Pentacles again. Exactly, investments. Because the reality of the situation is that you can only change in you don't have to always change in chaos. You can also change in peace, right? But these people wanted transformation to never happen in peace. They always wanted transformation to happen in chaos. They wanted to make it seem like they had some sort of purpose of creating some sort of chaos for there to be some sort of change, as if that the change wouldn't happen either way without them, because of their desperation to seem as if that they had already expanded when their whole thing was to stop other people from expanding in areas where they thought that they would have no kind of access in. You see what I'm saying? FOMO. Fear of missing out, quite literally. So they've missed out because they were fearing missing out on things that they weren't even going to get from the beginning. Exactly. Love in reverse. And that's the thing. It's like now that it's like the things that they thought that they could contend with, they couldn't. But the things that they were forcing other people to contend with, they were tricking them to lose. That's what it was. And that's the cheating, because it was never fair, but they wanted things to appear as if that it was fair, and now it's being exalted. You see what I'm saying? Now the situation is being like brought into enlightenment, is brought into like all that type of, it's just coming out. Okay, so the Hangman in reverse with the Ace of Pipes in reverse, people are seeing where that bitterness really is coming from. It's the bitterness from the loss through the absentness of one's own self-compassion. Like, you really, like, they really wasted their time doing all of this for naught to project the nothingness as if that we were to build something out of it. You see what I'm saying? And that was where it was all being rude. That was the manifestation of it all. Rudeness. All of it manifested into rudeness. And so it's like someone who hasn't cussed for years kind of energy. Someone who doesn't cuss at all, but they just get real fed up and then start cussing. This is the power of it. That's the power of it. You see what I'm saying? That's the power of it. Because it's raw. It's so raw. And they are begrudgingly holding that energy within them. And it's like it's a couple individuals, multiple people, or stuff like that. It's individuals who are in the Queen of Swords in reverse energy. And and you gotta be wise enough. The only way to be able to overcome the situation is being wise enough to walk the fuck away, knowing when to walk away, right? Because when you walk away and when you come in and when you do all this is going to show you your own like overcoming of the challenge, your own judgment of a situation, and they are of no use anymore. Now you can like judge a situation in your own discerning means. You can judge a situation by your own discerning means without accessing the external invalidated forces that would challenge you to founding. You see, founding the state of reality that would allow you to manifest without a hitch, without a problem, right? Like, so people will like create a problem to simulate the protection of a situation, to simulate the, you know what I mean, to simulate to just simulate the access that the problem might have to the actual core of the solution that's being utilized, in order to see how the solution will now diffuse the problem, and from its external shield only, right? Because then you can see the primary characteristics of the core of the solution, right? And this is something that they don't understand because they've never experimented properly in their life, like they've never developed anything. That's the process of development, right? It's like reading a development, reading and understanding a development. And this is where they discriminate. They discriminate against people specifically who are fertile for development. Yeah. And see, they're infertile, but they discriminate against people who are fertile. It's a very odd thing to discriminate about, and it's very hidden, it's very covert. Yeah, exactly. Empress, Magician, Chariot. You see what I'm saying? And now that people understand it, so it's like, why is it that they discriminate? Because it's like there's a lot of bitterness, and it's like there's a lot of bitterness, but it's more than that. It's a lot of development that wasn't. It's like you get what you ask for kind of energy. It's like you get what you pay for. So it's like they are infertile, but then they're also bitter because they're infertile. You see what I'm saying? So it's like fertility allows you to bring things into a stage of development of absolute ripeness, so that then there would be a maximized potential within the growth of whatever it is that is being developed, right? Whereas infertile individuals don't even have the foundation for there to be a development or a growth of any kind. You see, so it's an absence already, and that's why they are in the energy, because they're not trying to actually get to know themselves as an absentee, absent in their own life, and you know what I mean. So everything that it is that they're projecting outwards from who they are and what they are is absence. They're projecting negligence through absence of reality, absence of realizing, which is a projection of disassociation. So how is it that they're gonna make other people disassociate to make themselves feel the way that they do? Probably bully people, you know what I mean? Probably compare themselves to people and put people in a position of confusion. You know what I'm talking about? And this is all form of dark expression. It's all a form of dark expression. And that's what they try to make seem as if it was God divinely guided, that they were, yeah, that's what it is. They were trying to make it seem as if that they were divinely guided to take away from people their own, cognizance around what it is that they were developing. So let's say I'm developing a painting. Someone will come to me and punch me in the face and say that I've never developed a painting in my life. Type shit. This is like the 8,000 painting I've developed, right? I've sold plenty of paintings before. I've sold thousands of paintings. It's like, no, they want to make it seem like, but it's like because they don't know anything about like the history of the street. Absent. You see, they're absent from a certain history. They're absent from a certain bloodline. They're absent from a certain perspective, but they want to be in control of the perspective, because that's exactly what they're absent in. Because the thing that they're absent about is the thing that they want to control. Exactly. Queen of Cups. And the thing is that people who are not absent, people who are present, right, in cognizance, and present in awareness, and present in morality, and present in compassion, right, we can see the difference between someone who is, you know what I mean, a victim of, degradation, and someone who is actually, you know what I mean, the culprit in degradation, irregardless of whether or not it was their fault or not their fault in a situation where they, you know what I mean? Like, you can see that. Exactly. So now there's a false investment. So false investments of some sort of bad karma, right? And then there's the illusion. So it's false magic. There's that voodoo curse, whatever it is that's their bloodline energy. Yeah, whatever that shit is given to God. That shit is being removed. Yeah, because they thought that they were going to hide the Nine of Swords energy as if that they weren't in the Nine of Swords energy forever. Yeah, they were trying to hide it as if that they were not in the Nine of Swords energy forever. Like no one could see them in that struggle, as if that they weren't struggling or had never struggled before. But then they wanted to weaponize the struggle. You see what I'm talking about now? And that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of hypocriticism, pessimism due to hypocriticism, and that's being closed out as well. So now they're going to have to go somewhere. Three of Wands. Ooh. Wow. My throat chakra just cleared the heck up. Like, wow. Okay. So, yeah. Now, when it comes to the collective, including me, obviously, and what'd you call it, because that other person is not a part of the collective. Yeah. This is the energy that's being cleared out. Yeah, the Four of Swords, the restlessness, fear, anxiety, and inaction. Okay, because the Ace of Joints is here, which is the Ace of Wands, and all the other cards are trying to turn upright, which is just like, obviously it's been cleared out. So there's manifesting, right, that opportunity to move forward and advance. Yes, star, period. That means that things are in alignment, gifts are coming through. Spirit guides are, you know what I mean, they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Well, there's the advancement. Next stage. The Knight of Pentacles. Oh, the Knight of Pentacles was coming out as like a, oh, hey, the Knight of Pentacles is coming. The Knight of Pentacles is coming. The Knight of Pentacles is coming. Because now the Eight of Pentacles is here step by step. So that's another thing. Reminders. There's like untimely reminders that had caused that energy to turn what it is. So there was a point in time where that Queen of Swords energy was a Nine of Pentacles in reverse. That was due to that, and then they became the Queen of Pentacles in Queen of Swords in reverse because of the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So this is like a lack of, this is that's codependency. So that codependency has to do with the constant reminder, or like a constant pronunciation of a reminder, or a constant gnawing of consciousness. It's guilt. Yeah, there's some sort of guilt. So due to some sort of guilt, the manifestation of pessimism began. Some sort of overcritical energy. Yeah, I couldn't make this shit up. Look, innocence and then the Nine of Victim. You see what I'm saying? There was some sort of guilt in a situation. And oh, malicious dependent. Look at that. Malicious and dependent. Cheater mental fog. That's what the mental fog was about. The guilt. The guilt was causing there to be a mental fog. But these mental fogs are projected onto the collective, which is being cleared out. Exactly. You see? That's what it is, because they were trying to make it seem as if that we wouldn't be able to tell when our own mentals were foggy, but they're the ones that couldn't tell that their mental is foggy. And if they could be able to tell, they wouldn't be able to come out of it. But we aren't in it. We can not proudly, you see what I'm saying? We can courageously say that we are not in any kind of mental fog, and that we are aware and cognizant and very much like alive and stuff like that. Whereas these people, they can't say the same thing, but they will try and say the same thing because the will is strong. I'm going to be honest. You know what I mean? Judgment. And that's really what it is about. There's, yeah, justice here, and about the manifestation. So you remember what I was talking about, development? Because when you develop anything, it is to program manifesting of a constant, you know what I mean? Product, produce, something continuously, right? And so in that energy of support, that's what a development allows for, support. So in order for something support to be manifested, if you want to manifest support, you got to work in development. And for example, they wanted to discriminate against people who work in development, so that people wouldn't know how it is to be able to program your reality, so that you can manifest through ascension, and you can manifest with ascension with God, quite literally. So you got, exactly, there's like a lot of liberation here, there's a lot of freedom here. And this is how I used to talk when I was a kid. Yeah, this is why people call me annoying, because I would be hella fast and people were like, I can't keep up with you. And I'm like, I know, it's okay though, it's fine, because I wouldn't make the same mistakes that you would make in the conversation, because I actually know what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. And people want to make it seem like I didn't know what I'm saying by trying to make it difficult for me to communicate. Quite literally, they were trying to always make it difficult for me to communicate by always interrupting me, always never keeping up. I can't apologize for being faster than your mind can collect the information or evidence to use against me, okay? I'm not going to apologize. I'm just not, okay? And there it is, lovers in reverse. And that's what it is that they were trying to manifest. It's like trying to manifest an apology over a competition that I never enlisted in, but someone tried to win in my name, got disqualified, and then somebody else won. Now everyone is trying to come after me because everybody thinks it's me, but I already won a different competition somewhere else. Like, that's what I mean. It's like that kind of energy. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, if I wanted to compete, like, it wouldn't be somewhere where I would lose. Like, you know what I mean? Cycle complete. Like, what? Yeah, Page of Bongs with the 7 of Swords. Exactly, like logic. There's some sort of like, I don't know how to explain logotype, like, yeah, stylized arrangement of letters, words, or brand name, design, company, product, or organization. Logotype, single piece of type that prints a word or group of separate letters. A type form. We're getting type, logo, type shit. Logotype. So it's like our slang is starting to really align with divine. It's kind of funny how that happens. The return. But that's I think that's all for the collective reading. We've, I think, closed out a bunch of cycles so far. I don't know how long I'll be able to come here as live or do anything. I hope you guys enjoy this reading. If you did, the Magician, there's the resurrection. So this is like justice. So finally, the testimony of my resurrection has finally been solidified. Finally, now there's information about that. Victory is being given to God. And now the matter is of grounding. Okay, the Fool with the Page of Buds, the Fool with the Page of Buds in reverse. So I think this is, yeah, I think that's it. They can't try and falsify development anymore and try and wave it in our face. Yeah, they can't try and falsify development. I mean, you know those people who try and pretend like they're rich or successful in order to scam people, or people who pretend like they're, you know what I mean, agents in order to scam people, or people who pretend like, you know what I mean, to pretend, they falsify fraudulent buildings, homes, like classified information. They falsify everything. So like all those people, like, yeah, it's being seen now. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Yeah, there it is, the 8. With the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, because they wanted to use a falsify typographic treatment or stylized arrangement. So it's a treatment. They wanted to falsify their treatment. Yeah, they wanted to falsify their treatments. Or their form of retreat. Yeah, they wanted to falsify their form of retreat, and it's being seen. It's being called out. Yep, because they wanted to make it seem as if that stealing, yeah, exactly, the harboring resentment against hard work and dedication of other people was a good form of retreat. That was what they were trying to make it seem as. They were trying to make it seem like harboring resentment, right, and evil doubts and all this shit like that about other people in order to discoordinate their anger, right, and cause all sorts of issues was their right. Like they were trying to make it seem like confusing people, causing people issues, causing people problems, difficulties in their life was some sort of privilege that was only provided to only them, type shit. That's what they were trying to do. I'm telling you, with the 4 of Swords and Wheel of Fortune with the Ace of Buds. See? And there it is. And that's why the 8 of Swords. Right, because that's how it works. You think that you have some sort of power to overwhelm people and emotionally, mentally, physiologically, in their autonomy. Yeah, you think that you can abuse your power to physiologically overwhelm someone in their autonomy. Well, there's karma for that. Well, there's karma for that. Now there's real karma for that. Like there's been a special place in hell that's made up. Yeah, exactly. Just for that. And there's no opportunity to plan any kind of anything. That's it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Period. Exactly. And trust and believe that the no love that's being put in the situation, no kind of love, the nothingness that's being put in the situation is absolutely divine orchestration with the King of Joints energy there. Yeah, because you don't, Ace of Pipes in reverse with the King of Wands is like, yeah, yeah, they can't threaten, they can't be malicious towards, you can't teach a monkey how to fly. Yeah, exactly. You can't teach a monkey how to fly. That's the energy, that's the lesson. That's what I'm getting from straight from Jesus. You can't teach a monkey how to fly. Let me see its analogy here. Let me see. Yeah, the phrase "you can't teach a monkey to fly" is often used to express that something is simple or straightforward, implying that a monkey could learn to do it with minimal training. Oh, you can teach a monkey how to fly. But this is like, yeah. Wow. But this is like what I'm saying. I said, you can't teach. I said, can't. Yeah. The saying "you can't teach a monkey how to fly" is a metaphor. It highlights the idea that some things are impossible or extremely difficult to learn, especially if they're outside of one's natural capabilities or if the individual lacks the necessary aptitude or understanding. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. And that's what these people are struggling with. And they don't understand that it's beyond their mental sphere. You can't teach a monkey how to fly. And even if it's a flying monkey, it still wouldn't be your job. You see what I'm saying? And that's what these people don't understand. So, like I said in the beginning of the reading, or in the beginning of the last reading, when it comes to harnessing your abilities and you're harnessing your perception that is ascending right now, your perception is what is going to manifest your reality instantaneously as you speak, as you be, as you are, as you see, right? So it's important for you to harness this ability with great might, okay? Great might. And this is the only way that you'll be able to overcome the secret competition that these people keep on trying to falsify as a parallel reality when it's actually adjacent to the possibilities that you could be manifesting. Okay? And that's what it is. These people want to manifest adjacent possibilities in your reality by forcing you to make space in your era of development for them to subside in. And that's all collective. Okay? So now you are aware of what goes on in these types of streets, okay? And just know, collective, that you know, you can only understand yourself as you can only understand someone else as far as you understand yourself. So if you can't teach a monkey how to fly, then, you know, why are you teaching a monkey? And do you really know how to fly? You know what I mean? Really understanding yourself. Are you a monkey? You know, is the monkey a flying monkey? There's a lot of questions going on here. You know what I mean? And so, like, instead of making fun of your capacity of, like, limitation in a certain situation, I know that things can be really funny sometimes. Try to think outside of the box in these kinds of, you know what I mean, in strategic moments of development. Try to think outside of the box. That's a lesson. Always try to think outside of the box when it comes to strategic forms of development. You never know what kind of innovation could be able to assist you in harnessing your perception of the world in a way that will be able to allow you to manifest something completely original and unique. That way you can't ever say, no one can ever try and copy you, and no one can ever come to you and say that you copied anyone. Okay, that's really the real lesson. I don't know where these people are lacking. I've always been trying to say this. This is I mean, that was clear from the get-go. Five of Swords energy, yeah. No one can say that you copied it from anyone, and anyone can and as if anyone can copy from you if you are the original inventor of a situation, right? And so I'm an original, you know what I mean? There's other originals out here, 144, and so they can't come in and, you know what I mean, make it seem like as if that, you know what I mean? Yeah, period. The seven is a 7 of wands, and the ace of pipes up right now. These people are in mental exhaustion. There's mental, like, their noise, mental noise. Exactly. And they're trapped in that mental noise, the same mental noise that we autistic individuals feel daily all the time. They're stuck in that hell. They're literally going to that hell, and that's now they don't want to fight anymore because they can't. Yeah. And that's why they be trying to tell people to lean into that shit, accept that shit. That's the same autism that we be going through. That's the hell that we be trying to, like, fight. We fight it. We fight it. We fight the noise because we can win. Because it's not our hell. We never deserved it. It's a disability. God literally apologizes to us. It's not even his fault. It's our parents. He says blame our parents. But he's still relaying the apology to us. That's how merciful he is. But instead of other disabled people being able to really tap into that, and people who are truly, truly broken down in their disabilities, so that they would know that God has not left them for naught. God has not left them to die in these streets because that they didn't have a fuck ass inheritance by your hand type shit. And that's really what's going on here. Right. And these people can't handle the same pain that they put, that the disabled individuals, the people with disabilities go through. Some people are born without arms and legs. So now so one person gets their arm chopped off because of a heroin addiction, let's say, right? Now they stand on the same level as someone who was born without an arm, who's an Olympian? Absolutely not. Maybe one day they'll be able to raise their consciousness and cognizance enough and ascend enough to be able to understand the kind of pain and what it is that really means to grow and be without an arm. Same thing as a man. becoming a woman. Maybe one day you'll be able to understand what it really means to be a woman, but that day is not this timeline. It is not. It is not when you transition you'll suddenly understand what it means to be a woman. No. Maybe next lifetime when you're born one, like the rest of us. It's the same thing. Women who transition into men are forgiven often than not, but I don't think that's going to be the case anymore for a while. I think that's not going to be the case for a while. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of regrets because there was a lot of abuse of power. A lot of abuse of power. A lot of abuse of, like, wow. It was a lot of abuse of, like, what do you call it? Like, courtship. Yeah, abuse of courtship. Can you imagine? That's how they got caught up. They didn't get caught up for pedophilia or anything like that. They got caught up because they abused other people's courtships. Remember when I said that there's somebody that was like, it's like somebody trying to come in and be a part of somebody else's relationship, kind of energy, like coming in, like wanting to be a third party to a relationship. Like I said that in the beginning. They wanted to abuse courtship, but they wanted to abuse the idea of it. Yeah, snake energy. And now it's all being cleared out finally. Like that cycle is ending. No more of that. Yeah, no more of that shit again. Yeah, no more of that. The burden of that energy is being released. Like those impractical decisions, right, against innocence are being seen as impractical decisions against innocence. Yeah, they're being seen as impractical decisions against innocence. Like such actions may be working against, like, yeah, innocent. Yeah. Such actions may work against things that are not so innocent anymore, but not towards innocent. Yeah, not towards innocence. Yeah, that's what it is. That's the truth. Some actions, yeah, and that's what's coming through, you guys, in the collective. Yeah. Ooh, Queen of Buds with the 8 of Pentacles and the Page of Buds there. 9 of Pentacles going to come through soon with the 3, 4 Pentacles, period. Yep, there it is. There it is that they were trying to project where 9 of Pentacles were supposed to be. You see what I was talking about now? Where 9 of Pentacles was supposed to be. They wanted to act like they could manifest 5 Pentacles like it was always going to work. Death, judgment. See? 3 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, Strength. Yep, 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, 1, 2. See, they wanted to make... Yeah, they wanted to... It's being seen. However it is that they've been doing it, it's being seen. Yeah, they wanted to replace. They wanted to act like they could replace, translocate. They wanted to act like they could translocate without translation. You see, they wanted to act like they could translocate, but they couldn't translate. They wanted to act like they mastered transitioning, but that's not the mastery of transitioning. Cutting your immolating yourself isn't a form of transitioning, weirdos. That's what I mean. They wanted to act like they harnessed the ability to translocate, so that to force us to translocate for them on their behalf, so that they could pretend as if that they've translocated successfully, so that they can abuse. Look, translocation, removal from one place to another or exchange places. You see what I'm saying? Period. Yeah, there's now like there's angels being called on translocation entirely. Yup. Now it's being seen. Yeah, how these people were trying to abuse like such a pure gift. Literally such a pure gift. Something that was supposed to be for us collective. Like we could have been teleporting by now. But these motherfuckers wanted to act like, you know, $100. They wanted to act like $5 was $100. So they wanted to kill everyone and destroy teleportation. That's what it is. I just hope you understand. Imagine if we could all teleport right now and one stupid motherfucker went around and said, you know what? I'm going to make it so that we live in a reality where no one gets to teleport anymore, so that I can decide whether or not they believe if $5 would be $100. Like, that's what I mean. It would be someone that would be obviously seen as codependent. Someone who is obviously fucking out of their fucking rocker, out of their mind. Literally. Yeah, exactly. Strength here. Yeah, Yeah, strength to overcome adversity or strength to overcome victimhood. This is advancement, it's perseverance. Exactly. They wanted to get in the way of perseverance. They got in the way of their own perseverance and wanted to advise other people to do it too, basically. Yep, High Priestess in reverse, Queen of Joints upright. There she is. Yep, they wanted to abuse perseverance and then make other people force it to seem as if that they successfully did so in order to make them seem as if that they were profiting off of it, off of trying to cover up for someone else. Yeah. Yeah. Cycle complete. It's good. The cycle is complete. Yeah, I just know the cycle is complete. The Magician, here's the rest. Yeah, I'm like, this is too easy. Like, it's giving, oh, that was too easy. Yeah, King of Pipes. Yeah, cool, too easy. Yeah. It's being seen now. Yeah. Exactly. Yep, all of it. It's like they didn't see, like they missed something. Oh my gosh, they didn't see something that this is a moving energy, okay? Six of Swords is a moving energy. It's there when it's there, but if it's like a glance. They didn't glance. They didn't even take a glance. They didn't even take a glance, but they took a gamble. They didn't even take a glance, but they took a gamble. It's like this. Secret. Like that. That's a gamble. This is a glance. See? Lovers in reverse. See? Do you see how I did that? Bloop. And I opened it. Right? I took a glance. There's a glance. There's a moment. There's a moment where you already saw that I saw it. Right? And then I looked at it fully and I was like, okay. Confirmation. Because what happens before you see the full picture of something? You see a glance, you see a peep, it peeps and then it reveals itself. Someone didn't even get a glance of something. Yeah, exactly. Someone didn't even get a glance of something. Okay, good. Someone didn't even get a glance, so there wasn't even any evidence. Yeah, exactly. Period. Now it's being seen. Two swords with three of, yeah, that they never knew what they were talking about when they were talking about me or the Empress energy or divine feminine energy. Exactly. And they were always spiritually, yeah, and they were always, yeah, they didn't know anything about what they were talking about when they were talking about me or the Empress or the energy of spiritual sanctity. So they didn't know anything about spiritual sanctity, and that's what it is that they were being like obstinate and being negligent about spiritual sanctity. Okay, they were being negligent about sanctity and didn't realize the power of sanctity. Yeah. Holiness, godliness, and blessedness. Yep. They didn't see, they didn't understand, they didn't care. It was like inviolability. Okay, perfect. Thank you, God. Inviolability. What does that mean? Thank you, God. Inviolability. Inviolable. That is to be kept without violation. That is to be kept without violation. Inviolability. You see? But then what happened? Defilement, desecration, profanation. You see? Look, it is attested by early infraction, transgression, non-observance of treaties, commands of emperors, and by the late specifically as rape, ravishment of a woman, violation of maidenhood, rape of a virgin. A maiden is a virgin. You see? Treaties, commands of emperors, rape, ravishment of a woman. Do not. That is to be kept without violation. You see? It was too late. 2005, 2006, it was already too late. It's been too late. That's when I resurrected. It's been too late. It's been 20 years. You think I haven't been raped more than that since then? Like, it's been too late. Like, these people are, like, they don't care about any of the consequences of the previous already actions the people are already paying for what had already happened. They want to go along under, it's like the undercurrent. Like they didn't see the undercurrent of the wave. Like they only saw the wave. And so they were like, ah, fuck you, bitch. I'm about to ride that wave. And went through the undercurrent because it was my wave. Like they didn't see that shit. It was like I'm the moon translating the tides, right? And they want to translocate in order to ride the wave, and ended up going under the undercurrent and then getting eaten up by the same shark that they were trying to place beside the boats of one of the chosen type of energy. I'm not, you know what I mean? That's basically the energy. That's what's going on. Yeah, so they thought that they were, yeah, Emperor in reverse. You see what I'm saying? So now the Hierophant is in celebratory energy, which fulfillment has been there, but now is being seen by, because there's some sort of Emperor in reverse that's being caught. Now they're being caught too, because they also didn't care about inviolability. They also didn't care about, what'd you call it, sanctity and sanctification. They also didn't care, but they wanted to act like they were also holy. But if they were also holy, how is it that you don't care about the same holiness that's in the sanctification? That's the same holiness. But they wanted to act like they were the commander of holiness. That's why it was called raping. That's the thing. That's violence against womanhood, against feminine energy, divine feminine energy. That's why they're getting caught up now. Exactly, you see? Three of the SE. That's why there's no, not only there's now the false communication that was being falsely invoked, the approach, the false approach to lie is being dismantled. The notion of the false approach that was the lie, the way that the approach had occurred for there to be coercion to begin with, that wasn't seen as a lie previously, that is now being seen as a lie. Yeah, yeah, there it is. There it is. There was some sort of like false absolution in a courtship, like for false forgiveness, like withholding the reality behind some sort of courtship in order to cause there to be the lie, which is what is this? Which is the false courtship to begin with. Yeah, devil in reverse. I thought so. Exactly. Now it's being caught up. Now it's being seen. Yeah, because now they're real silent about it. Now they're real silent about all of it that they knew already, that they've been knew about, that they were dependent on hiding. You see the information that they were depending on hiding. Yeah, that they were dependent on hiding some sort of some sort of notion to advance at a specific time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, which was to cause there to be demoralization of skill work, right? Yeah, exactly. Which is falsified influence, or just straight up influencing or engaging with enabling behavior in order to coordinate false coercion. Yeah, which is kind of like, you know, when it false recruitment. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. False recruitment. So now the false recruitment is being seen. Yeah, false recruitment is being seen. It's falsifying recruitment in order to in order to establish false staff. It's weird. Establishing false. Yeah, exactly. False staff. You see what I'm saying? False staff. Staff, of course. All I got is my staff. Stick or pull, my staff. Because Jesus created a company. Of course, the staff of life, bread, pain. Pull from which a flag is a flag. Basically, that's what I'm saying. So this is what it is. This is the lie. They wanted to act as if that they were a producer of master manifester. See, they wanted to act like they were a producer of master manifestors, and that as if it was a matter of fact that they would have known what a real master manifester looks like or not through their falsified years of wisdom of falsifying, what'd you call it, production of falsified manifestors, right? I can teach you, you can teach me, you can teach each other. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yup. Yup, yup. Yup, yup, yup. Now the whole thing is being stopped. Yeah, they thought that they were gonna simulate the same reality as the spirit guides. Yeah, exactly. They thought they were gonna simulate the same reality as the spirit guides in order because they assumed what kind of reality the spirit guides go through. Judgment, exactly. They assumed, they thought that I would know. They thought I was gonna give them the answer right here. Yeah, no, that's the problem. That's the problem I've been talking about. Is them trying to get information to cover up. They're trying to dig in. They're like, weren't you doing spirit guiding work? Like they're trying to force it. Like there's nothing there. There's nothing there. They bet on it. They bet on it too and everything. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Yeah, there's a reason why they're still in the position of doing what it is that they're doing. And it's not to hurt me. And that's what they don't understand. Yeah, Ace of Cups. It seriously hurts my heart whenever I see spirit guides waiting for these individuals to finally learn their lesson. That's what it is that really hurts me. Like, I'm sitting there praying for my spirit guides, ancestors, and angels, and really worshiping the Most High, because the Most High created all these amazing beings in order to heal us and ourselves. You know what I mean? And to work with us and ourselves with the most I mean, they are patients. It's like we are patients. Like He is patient. You know what I mean? It's like there's most merciful energies here, and it's like I said, for like that's the mistranslation. The for naughtness is their actions, their despair. Their despair is for naught, not our grief. Their despair is for naught. So they're lying about what it is they're disappointed by. Yeah, there it is. They're lying about what it is that they're disappointed by. It's like they're acting disappointed about some sort of opportunity for someone to be in a relationship with someone who is better than them. That's a big false mother situation. Whenever, like for example, there's some, okay, so it's like they're trying to mimic women or mothers who are kind of like, you know, protective over their sons' relationships. Like it's kind of that same frequency. Like it's like they're pretending to be disappointed that their son is moving on, but they're not actually disappointed that their son is moving on, or they're, see what I'm saying? But it's not that they're not disappointed that their son is moving on, is what I'm trying to say. It's the fact that their son is moving on with someone better that's triggering them to make it seem like they're not disappointed that their son is actually moving on. So it's like they're pretending to be disappointed, but in reality they actually are disappointed, but it's in a different, yeah, exactly, it's in a different format. It's like they're clearly disappointed, but they're trying to play it off as if they're not disappointed at all. It's being taken as if that they're disappointed that their son is leaving the nest. But the reality of the situation is that they're disappointed that they're not better than the person that their son is leaving the nest with kind of energy. That's basically the plan of the situation. That was the curse that they were trying to cause in order to make it seem as if that their son was supposed to move on with someone that was better than them in a certain kind of situation, as if that there was some sort of security that was obligated for the environment, for God, for the angels, the ancestors to perform on the behalf of the Queen of Pipes in reverse, in obstruction of the Empress, who is calling judgment in the situation. Yeah, exactly. You see? And now it's over. Now it's over. Yeah, exactly. Now it's over. They're being wiped out. They're being wiped out now because it's over. Yeah. The situation has hit its peak. Yeah, judgment. The Empress here. The world. Cycle complete. Period. Now there's rest. And the destination has been reached. Innocence is here in alignment with God. And that's it. That's it. And now it's all that development. So now it's about developing now. The development, right? So the development is being activated by the Queen of Joints energy. and the Ace of Pipes energy. So the Queen of Joints energy in this situation is the Queen of Wands, and then the Ace of Pipes is the Ace of Swords. So it's about wild truth. So about like fairies kind of energy. It's giving eccentricism. Okay, the wild truth, aka eccentric power. Okay, eccentric power. Something you might want to look up. Okay, collective, this has been a long, beautiful reading, but I'm glad that we closed the cycle out, because that's where the Emperor in reverse, he just got forgotten, honestly, throughout the reading. So that's another thing that had happened while this reading was occurring. So I'm just gonna pull up one last, oh, actually no, here, I'll pull up the Crystal Angels card deck, because I brought this out here knowing that I was gonna read some Crystal Angels deck before I did it, because I said there's a reason why. Right, Tiger's Eye, self-confidence through God confidence. Believing yourself by believing God is working in you. That in believing God is, in believing yourself by believing in God working through you. Okay, Watermelon Tourmaline, stress reduction. Decrease your mind, body, and schedule once you need to rest, recharge, and revive. Okay, Amethyst, reveal your true self. As you allow others to know the real you, you'll feel love for who you really are. Okay, Aqua Aura, healthy communication in relationships. Heart-to-heart discussions and clear, assertive communication help you understand and be understood. You see, healthy, assertive communication can help you understand and be understood. Okay, Yellow Jasper, control issues. Utilize your God-given strength and power instead of fearing that others may try to control you. Okay, and last but not least, Angelite, spiritual or religious community. Join with the like-minded people for friendship and increased spiritual growth. So this may be for you guys, collective. Don't be afraid to be a part of the community. Don't be afraid to, because you never know how things change once we interact with each other. So don't be afraid of interacting. Smoky quartz, okay? If you watch this, whether or not you watch this all the way through, whether or not you just watched a little bit and you just skip to this part all of a sudden, or maybe you're the FBI agent that watches me take a shower every day, okay? I don't really care. Interact, okay? It'll be really nice. Clearing negativity, release negativity from within or around you. You know how Harley Quinn was inside the cage and she would be hanging upside down, and she was definitely a bad person, like, don't get me wrong, but what'd you call it, she was inside the cage, and you know, she felt like she would pretend like she was just lonely in the cage, right? She would take control and harness that dark loneliness, right? This is the power of psychology. And then she would, you know what I mean, draw in one of the guards before knocking them out and escaping the cage kind of scenario, right? That's an example of weaponized energy, like loneliness. But someone who doesn't deserve it, right, who is stuck, like Harley Quinn kind of energy, but is innocent, right, would the freedom would happen the same way, except with less harm. Like, probably, like, that they would probably the guard would open the gate themselves, you see, and then there would be a whole lot of, like, all like a bunch of distractions. Like, that's what I mean. It's like, that's why judgment is so hard to call, because it's like the same scenario could be the same. The only difference is the inside of both individual parties. See, natural beauty and authenticity, that's how you know it's God in control, because of the authenticity. It's his authentication, it's his signature, right? Turquoise, spiritual path, knowing his signature, knowing how he works. It's like every timeline is a work of art, and God is the creator of every timeline, right? And so each timeline has his signature. And then there's collaborators, collaborations, there's businesses, products, merchandise, things that come out of every timeline. Every timeline. And so it's, yeah, diamond, value your self-worth. You are God's precious gem, okay? And then, yeah, that's it, you guys. Balancing masculine and feminine energies. Thank you guys so much for watching, reading. Thank you guys so much. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.